Now, I chose to do this because it kind of hits home with me. You got this woman here whose kids died because they were sleeping out homeless in a car sleeping. And, she wants sympathy or empathy. You put yourself and your child in this situation. Going forward, you messed up as a male or female. If when you're about to have a kid and when it comes to prenatal care, if you're going to a government entity for medical assistance in regards to your child, you don't need to be having one child, let alone, I think this girl got 2 or 3 or 4 kids. I know she got more than one baby daddies. And don't you see that this is a perpetual cycle that's not going to be broken until these women decide to better vet the men that they choose to procreate with? You're going to see going forward how the guy she picked, you can see that he was a deadbeat. But I'm going to let the video play.
Right now, we're going to turn to our other big story of the night. A father speaking to us tonight after learning 2 of his kids died from exposure to the cold in a casino parking lot.
Yesterday, 7 News Detroit reporter Darren Cunningham spoke to the mother of those 2 kids about the tragic situation.
Yesterday, I woke them up to wake them up from school. My son wasn't moving. And I kept saying, Freddie, please get up. Please.
Well, tonight, Darren is getting the father's side of this story, hearing about the moment he learned 2 of his children had passed away.
Darnell Curry Sr. wiped away tears while talking with me about his children, Darnell Jr. and Amelia, and the distressing phone call he says he took from their mother, Tatiana Williams, on Monday.
I went to the gym. As soon as I got on the treadmill, she called saying, can I make it to the hospital right now? They got him. I was hoping it was a sick joke, but it wasn't.
I do like the fact that the brother mentioned he was at the gym on a treadmill, which means he's, to some degree, concerned about his physical fitness, which all men should be doing, whether they got, children or not. You're supposed to be, your health is supposed to be your number one priority. So I commend him for that. But I also, not to jump on the brother, but if you was really in your kid's life, you would know that they was homeless, because if you talk to them on the phone, they'd be like, Daddy, we're tired of sleeping in the car. Daddy, it's cold to sleep in this car. You'd be like, what? Put your mother on the phone. So I'm not really buying that he didn't know that they was homeless. If he didn't know, he didn't communicate with the mother and the kids effectively enough to where he should have found something like that out, So needless to say, the girl still chose wrong. Needless to say, she should have vetted the person she had children with, or was planning on having children with, saw what he was doing with his life. Was he productive? Did he have a job or career or a job with healthcare? If he didn't, you shouldn't be laying down with him to the point where you become impregnated. But women do it all the time. And men are just as stupid. I'm not saying that he didn't have nothing to do with it. He had a lot to do with it, but he didn't necessarily have anything to do with why he was homeless. He might have had something to do with why the relationship didn't work out. And, a lot of men figure, if I'm not with you, those kids are not my responsibility. But that's the pookie dudes that they choose.
According to Detroit police, 9-year-old Darnell Jr. and 2-year-old Amelia died while sleeping in a vehicle at the Hollywood Casino at Greektown parking garage. Investigators say the cause appears to be hypothermia, a tragedy stemming from homelessness.
I tried. I asked for help. I asked everybody, even people out of state. But I tried. I tried to keep hotels. I tried to pay people to stay there. It wasn't working for me. People just didn't like too many kids at their house.
I spoke with the children's mother Tuesday evening. She told me she's been living in her vehicle for 3 months, along with her 4 kids, her mother, and 2 teenage siblings. She says she reached out to Curry, who's the father of 3 of her children.
I asked him, I said, can you get your kids for me? I said, I need help. I'm homeless. I kept a room this long. I couldn't keep it no more.
They were homeless. Had Tatiana ever reached out asking to...
No, she did not. All she said was, can I get them? Can I get them just to get them? And can I get them because y'all homeless? That's 2 different things.
She said she had been homeless for 3 months.
That's what I saw about 3 months, but she ain't never said nothing to me. Nothing. So all them other sob stories, they can cut all that. No, she did not.
Curry, who lives in Novi, says Williams never specified why she wanted to drop their kids off to him.
She just asked, can I get them for a couple of days? But I told her I'm working and all that, and I'm out here. We're not close to each other, so I couldn't. But she knows all my family is right around the corner from her.
Did she reach out to any of your family?
No, she did not. And she knows she could have, like we always used to do.
And also, like, he mentioned that she could have reached out to his family. I don't think pride would have stopped her from doing it. I think you put pride aside when it comes to your kids. But her thing was, I reached out for help from this person, help from that person. When are we going to get it? Especially in the African American community, it is not our job to take care of your children. It is not our job to see that they have what they should have when they don't have it. It's not their job. Like, seriously, I look at, the reason why I prompted to do this video is because I saw firsthand what women do when they neglect their kids. In case you don't know, I got a daughter. She's 25 now, but when she was a kid, her mother sent her to school when she had a fever, and my daughter ended up having a seizure in school. I don't know if I never addressed it with my daughter. I never did, but I don't know if she remembers. But I just never brought it up to her. But that's what prompted me to get on my high horse to find out. I don't want this child. I don't want to say my child because I never felt like she belonged to me. But I don't want this child to be a statistic, all because the mother is negligent. Now, there's no way you could say that she wasn't negligent. Either you sent your child to school not knowing she had a fever, that makes you negligent, or you sent her knowing she had a fever and you sent her anyway. That's negligence either way. And that prompted me to get on with family court to try to get things done, which really to no avail, because we had the first family court hearing after that, and I tried to go for full custody. They weren't having that. I didn't want to sling mud, so I didn't bring up the thing about the seizure. I just didn't bring it up to the court because, long story short, I didn't think that they were going to give custody to me anyway. Because I really, up until that point, I hadn't had any very minimal interaction with the kid. But the truth of the matter is, the girl her mother sent her to school with a fever. She had a seizure. That's negligence. That's when I'm like, I got to be in this child's life so she doesn't end up a statistic like this dude's kids. And he probably faced the same thing. You got a woman who's not competent raising children and wanting help and wanting a big pity party. Oh, I can't do this by myself. But at one point you thought you could. That's why I say they're adults up to a point. But when things get too hard for them, they revert back to children and look to blame somebody else for decisions that they made.
Everybody who know me know I worship the ground them kids walk though.
The 29-year-old mother of the two kids that likely froze to death Monday in the parking structure of the Hollywood casino.
Maybe I asked the wrong people for help, but that was the only thing I did wrong.
Tatiana, remembering how many times she reached out for a place to live, she asked the father of the two kids that died.
He had an excuse every time. Either he's working, they can't come where he living. He live with a female, and the parents and them don't want kids there or something.
She also asked the city of Detroit for help.
I reached out in November. I reached out before that. I've been on the CAM list for a long time. And every time I call to ask if they have a bed, they say they don't have family beds.
So the 7 of them had been sleeping in their 2002 Town and Country van since November. But the kids had everything else.
They ate every day, all day. Goodies, food. They didn't want for nothing. Every day they went to school. I had one mistake.
And the kid's grandmother, 49-year-old Yvette Goodman, was also in the van that day. Did the van run out of gas?
I have no idea what happened. I have no idea.
Did you fall asleep?
Yes.
And then when you woke...
Only night I fell asleep. I usually be woke.
And when you woke up, what happened?
My grandson wasn't moving.
First of all, this woman's 49 years old, so she's younger than me and already a grandmother. She's homeless, living in a van with her daughter and her other children and her grandchildren. Do y'all see the generational curse that all this welfare stuff provides? Like, I'm so glad that Donald Trump is trying to go after welfare fraudsters and make people work that are on welfare. I remember working for the Housing Authority, and they had a meeting about, the services weren't what they used to be. And the meeting started off with a woman saying, I've been in public housing since 1972. And I'd done the math for the year that it was. The woman was in public housing for 42 years, I think it was, or something like that. Generational curses. Like, you don't come up out of that. And did you hear how stupid the man was talking to her? Like she's stupid. Did the car run out of gas? And I don't know. It's because, they pretty much are stupid. I got a daughter's mom too, and I've had the women in my family talk about how stupid she is. So I guess they're kind of not doing I'm sure in the back of their mind, they're probably like, how could you get involved with such a stupid individual? That's what they're really saying. That's what they're really saying to me. And then I don't know what happened. See, they want to, like I said earlier, they want to be strong and independent. I can do this myself. And then when something happens where they got to be held accountable, I don't know what happened. I fell asleep and it was the only night I ever fell asleep. Yeah, okay, whatever. Stop with the stop stories. I'm so sick of this. How pitiful and stupid they all look too. You notice that, how pitiful and stupid they look?
A GoFundMe account has been set up to help the family.
That's one of the reasons we did set the GoFundMe up, so she will be able to have housing for herself and the children, her other remaining children.
And then, I usually be woke. Improper English, man. That's how you know low level of education, man, for real, with that kind of stuff. But anyway, I want to conclude the video by saying I don't feel sorry for these women. I don't even really feel sorry for their kids at this point now. I just don't, because it's basically a rat infestation. They keep doing these things, setting up GoFundMes so that they can do anything aside working to support their children, or choosing responsible men to have these children with. I'm not going to, rag time, big time on the dude, because it is what it is. You got caught out there sleeping with a woman. You were having casual sex with a woman, and the woman just wouldn't abort. But he was dumb enough to do it more than once. Only did it once. Bottom line is, know these women before you decide to have children. I'm speaking to the men out here. You probably don't want to have them because of the climate that we're in right now. Everything's getting expensive. Housing, cost of medical insurance, the cost of eggs. I just spent $7.50 on a dozen eggs. So, the smart think that they can't afford to have children, and they're probably right. But stupid women like this, they're going to constantly keep having children so they can cry and complain and get assistance when there's nobody there to help. Good luck with that.